A narc will use you to benefit themselves. And if you are new in your self-development journey and trying to heal from past trauma, then you need this video, because naturally you are going to attract narcissistic people because, well, they're going to feed off your weaknesses like a vampire. Regardless, this is your quick hack guide to identifying a narcissist in under 10 minutes. Let's go. Hey, my name's Danny De Silvers, and it is my duty to help you find a way to reparent yourself and to begin your self-development journey so that you can feel good and forget your less than ideal childhood. The first thing is the charming introduction test. Have you ever met someone who is so super charming to begin with that you are literally drawn to them? They dish out compliments, letting you know how amazing you are, which of course makes you feel hella good inside. So of course, naturally, you want to get to know this person a little bit more because they're just so lovely. In relationships, this is known as love bombing. They will give you endless compliments. They will say that they love you far too soon and everything just feels so perfect. Now, this is your first sign that someone has narcissistic traits. Listen to how they follow up with that compliment. Do they then use your amazing skills to take advantage for personal gain? Wow, you are such an amazing graphic designer, the best I have ever seen. You know, I could do with a logo actually. Now, it would really grow your portfolio if you could help me out with this. Are you taking on any experience work? So the test is as follows. Let them steal the initial conversation. How do they use up that time? Do they love bomb you? Do they seem over the top about your amazing personality? If they do, well, that's your first sign. Before we go any further, I would love for you to give me a huge thumbs up and to subscribe to this channel so that I can get the word out there to help more people that came from less than ideal backgrounds. And your support really does mean a lot. So share, like, comment, blah, blah, blah. You know the jazz. Let's go to the next point. The no test. A narc expects you to go out of your way for them, but they ain't gonna do it back. This is where the charismatic personality ties in pretty well. Their charming introductions makes you want to help them out because of how lovely they first appeared, when really it was just an act for you to go above and beyond for them. They are very toxic people when triggered, and one very easy way to test this is to simply say no to any of their requests. A healthy person will accommodate your request, but for a narc, they will demand that you give them your time as soon as possible, and then they try to guilt trip you. They will try to persuade you and offer you many reasons for you to give them what they need. The friends and family test. A narcissist cannot maintain long-term relationships, and if they do, it's with someone that lacks their own boundaries and also has very limited self-worth. They kind of have friends that are just as equally as toxic. Their relationships are just very casual. All they ever seem to do is talk dirty about other people. They gossip and talk down about everyone else in their life, and that is the only basis of a friendship for a narcissist. It's just a mutual bitching ground. They may lash out at you when you haven't been in touch with them for a couple of days. They're going to make you feel guilty for hanging out with other people. And this is one of the reasons why they never stop talking when you engage in a conversation with them. That's because deep down, they are so freaking lonely that they really just want to feel great in that moment with you. But don't feel sorry for them. To a narcissist, you are either in their way or following their way of life. There's no in between. Now, for this test, ask them about their family and their friends. They may tell you how their past relationships were awful and how their past partners were terrible, which is a clue. They will most likely despise their parents, moan about how they have to call their kids as the kids don't actually call them up anymore. I wonder why. The conversation test. Narcissists always take the conversation into their own hands, bragging about their achievements and experiences. They never turn around and ask you how your day is going or ask you a question, you may notice that they don't really look you in the eye when they are talking to you, and they are not asking you any follow-up questions. So to test for this, you need to drop back in the conversation and just listen. Do they try to bring you back into the conversation and notice that you've kind of clocked out? Do they even notice you stopped talking? The time test. Narcissists do not care about taking up your time. They will call you at crazy hours of the evening or the morning because their requests and needs are so important. I once had a narcissistic business client that would call me for hours, and it really made me think, like, dude, are we actually talking about business projects here? Instead, I ended up listening to them overshare personal stories, something that would make me go, wow, that's amazing. God, you're incredibly brilliant. Keep going. That's fantastic. You can easily test them and see how much time they take up when they talk to you. The one-upping test. A narcissist seems to feel that they know everything about life, and they will always try to intervene and tell you the best way of doing it, from anything to poaching an egg to finding a good used car in a garage. They will always try to put you down, from the clothes that you wear, the people you hang out with, the people that you date, the way you spend your free time, or even how you do your own job. Deep down, they try to decrease everyone else's self-esteem because that increases their own self-worth. These types of people do not celebrate the achievements of others. For example, at a wedding, they will not toast to the bride or the groom. They won't be clapping their hands when someone receives an award at a university graduation either. They never celebrate others. For this test, you need to say something that is going to spark up jealousy in them and see how they respond, which will be pretty easy. A very common example, I'm thinking about buying a new car, and then you wait and see how they respond. Naturally, the narcissist will want to know what type of car to see if it makes you out to be better than them, and they might start talking about them wanting to get a new car or something related to an expensive car that they once owned or someone that they knew had it, but it turns out the car make that you want to buy is actually not good enough, because they will give you many reasons why. This is my favorite, the lie test. They can create huge white lies or manipulate and embellish the truth so that they always come out on top. So to test for this, you just need to listen to them lie and see how they respond when you ask them. Gently point it out and say, I didn't quite get that a second. Did you mean to say that this happened, which is the lie, or that this happened, which is the truth? And they will get a little bit irate. The avoiding responsibility test. They may ignore you. They will cut you off, call you out for bigger things, anything to help them avoid taking responsibility for their actions, because to a narcissist, they are never in the wrong. Do not expect to ever hear an apology. You will get some form of, yeah, that was a little bit overboard for me. I shouldn't have said that, but you made me because of this that you said. If an apology has the word but in the middle of the sentences, it is not a true apology. Narcs are terrible people to work with or for. So to test for this, you need to ask the narcissist to explain what went wrong and listen for their avoidance to having any contribution to the problem. The empathy test. This is pretty sad. If you have narcissistic parents or guardians, you know that you have grown up feeling pretty alone. If you ever fronted a narcissistic parent and told them that you were scared, that you felt unwell, you were nervous, you were being, bullied at school, or you were struggling with something, they would always tell you to wipe away those tears, to sharpen up and stop being a crybaby. You may notice that a narc doesn't respond in a loving way to a crying, upset child. They will tut, awkwardly show love to their pets, like awkwardly stroke it like this. Not all of them, but most of them do deny climate change. They don't care for modern day movements like equality. They are low-key racists. They find charity a waste of time because charity starts at home. So to test for empathy and sympathy, you need to talk about how you had a bad day or that you're dealing with some personal stress right now, and listen for the narcissist's response. They will not comfort you. They won't ask you to talk about it. Instead, you are greeted with the, well, life sucks sometimes, get over it. The gift test. Because they suck at empathy and understanding who you really are, they are so chronically bad at buying gifts. They may try to impress you and say, here is an expensive gift card to a clothing brand that I really like, or here is some expensive aftershave or perfume that I like, instead of actually trying to find out what type of fragrance you actually wear. What do you mean these trainers aren't good enough? Do you think money grows on trees? Mom, I need special shoes for my bike. They clip into the pedals so that I can jump over hills. These are just football shoes.